Geez, Dro, another Dandadan video, huh? Sure got a lot of those on the channel. Yeah? And what are you gonna do to stop me? Found family is such a fun trope in media to me. A group of characters, not related by blood, but still forming a bond so strong that they consider each other family, usually brought together by a shared experience or something super traumatic. Some good examples of found family in anime are Aki, Denji, and Power, Somali, and Golem, the Straw Hats of course, and my 4 boys from Hunter x Hunter. Dandadan has a great running theme around found family that is best explored and visualized through the groups sharing a meal. Each dinner scene either hosting a new member to the family while also simultaneously showing how their relationships have developed. From what I've learned, in Japanese culture there's a very heavy emphasis on natural ingredients and letting each part of the meal speak for itself. I learned that in Japanese culture, the act of eating and cooking are one of the most important aspects of life. Well, I mean, in most cultures it is, you literally can't live without eating, but it's how it's viewed that's different.
And within the Japanese culture and Japanese cuisine, eating or cooking is considered one of the most important aspects of life, because we see eating as an exchange of lives. We are receiving a life from the nature so that we can live further in order to make the world a little bit better place.
So I found it kind of interesting that a shared meal in Dandadan can often take place after defeating an enemy, a life being lost. After dealing with the earthbound spirit, Granny Seiko takes Momo to pay respects. Seiko lays down the rules of coexistence to Momo, between spirits and humans. That the dead must never attack the living, and the living must never disrespect the dead. This scene, though, leads into the first meal they shared together. It's a bit of a hectic dinner scene with Momo and Seiko fighting over the crab meat. Looks like the meal that Seiko prepared was some sort of nabe, a Japanese hot pot, and what looks like a big bottle of Asahi Super Dry. With Seiko and Momo running around and pigging out, there's not much table manners to be seen. Although they made this meal for Okarun, they treat him less as a guest and more of a younger brother to tease. The next major dinner follows the yokai Acro Silky passing on and her aura being transferred to Aira. And even though the first meal between Aira and Momo doesn't go well, I think it's safe to say it was meant to serve as an opportunity for them to form a truce, since the two have been butting heads the entire time. A successful example of food being used to make a friend out of an enemy is with the Dover Demon, Mr. Mantis Shrimp, who was ready to attack him as soon as he awoke, but the moment he realized his enemies made him a meal, he vowed to never hurt them again. And boom, the next dinner scene, Mr. Mantis Shrimp is there. And like Okarun's first meal, he is not treated as a respected guest, but a member of the family who can be subjected to teasing and abuse at any given moment. It's easy to understand that Mr. Mantis Shrimp's reason for fighting was never anything to do with world domination or anything sinister like that. It was just a job to help him save his precious son. However, Okarun and the gang were still obstacles that prevented him from doing that. But in the end, when he was offered some food, Mr. Mantis Shrimp permitted himself to lower his guard. This allowed him to find a peaceful alternative to get what he needed with the help of his former enemies. Of course, Peeny Weenie, or Mr. Mantis Shrimp, is injured and probably starving, but despite him hating how Seiko's food tastes, he still eats his fill, which is a very respectful thing to do to show gratitude to your host, even though she didn't appreciate his comments. And I'm pretty sure this is some form of cannibalism. In the next big dinner scene, the family has grown exponentially after going to hell and back during the Evil House arc. They finally have a moment of respite with what looks like 2 big bowls of Kenshinjuru, or Nikujaga, I don't know, I'm not a chef. Aira wasn't even here for the Evil House arc, yet here she is for family dinner. As much as they all butt heads, and as much as Aira is trying to make it out that the reason for her being here is because she's the self-appointed leader of the group, simply if she didn't enjoy spending time with them, she wouldn't have joined. The next dinner takes place after Momo brings over the gang to stay with them to help keep watch over Gigi due to his new unpredictable power. Also, Aira pulling up like this is such a power move that it has its own orbit. The dialogue before the dinner really sells how close they've all got. It's really just natural jibber-jabber that happens between people who have grown comfortable with each other. And that continues throughout the dinner, from Momo asking Aira for her skincare routine, to Okarun suggesting a family game night after Gigi suggests he play him in Smash Bros. And even though the dinner ends like this, sometimes it'd be like that. Tell me there aren't going to be a few Thanksgiving tables that end up like this. And the next meal is breakfast time, the day after the table flip, and there's not really much to report about this one, just a cute little dinner after the craziness that happened last night. But the 5th meal, I believe, is Toyaki. By this time, Vimola and Kinta have joined them. The two haven't been around that long, so they're still trying to get to know one another and the group. Vimola can't even communicate with them. And despite Seiko not knowing who Kinta is, as usual, she offers him his fill of the food. It's clear that Seiko really takes pride in making these meals for this slowly growing family. and pretty much any mouth to feed is one that she will feed gladly. Yukinobu Tatsu must also really love food, or at the very least drawing it, because of the level of detail he goes in for each meal. Like, I don't know if he really needs to go this hard over eggs and sausage, but he does every time. Why does anime food look so good? I think Yukinobu Tatsu must get the same warm fuzzies drawing this as I do reading it. Like the barbecue dinner. After the gang's most intense battle yet, where they barely escape with their lives, they celebrate by having a yakiniku barbecue. And just look at this beautiful spread. Momo being so glad to have her granny back after being apart for so long. They were taking care of Chinkinkita, to Kinta and Gigi just fucking around in the background. You look at this image and you probably wouldn't even believe that just a few chapters ago, they were going through the most traumatic battles of their lives. But right now, at this moment, all that matters is that they're all here together. Even though they treat this as a regular thing with how dangerous their lives have become, moments like this must feel special to everyone present. And from what I've seen, it's something important to the readers too. So much so I've actually seen people try to predict what meal Seiko will prepare the gang next. The way things are going in the manga right now, a new member of the family may be on the way. Sounds like someone's pregnant, but in reality it's just another oddball who will fit right in with this crazy cast of characters. I love how in any other story, these characters wouldn't dare to spend a minute together. Their personalities couldn't be more different. A class clown, nerds, pretty girls, aliens, and spirits can somehow come together, sit down, and enjoy a shared meal together. You know what? That might be stranger than anything they've ever encountered.